In case you didn't know, I have no idea what I'm doing. In true nervous to start a YouTube fashion, I saw Be More Chill at the Lyceum Theatre in previews, and I'm posting this video on the brink of its closing, aka literally closing today. It's a real shame, by the way, the main closing reason being lack of sales, at least according to the Hollywood Reporter. I say it sucks not just because I like the show, but because I feel that the main reason ticket sales were low is probably the price of Broadway tickets, mixed with the bulk of the audience being so young. Not that that's really stopped anyone before, but especially when you have like older high school kids and college age kids being so interested in this musical, I think that that's probably where it happened. Okay, so here's my unprofessional view of Be More Chill by playwright Joe Trace, composer Joe Iconis, director Stephen Brackett, choreographer Chase Brock, and of course based on the novel by Ned Vizzini. Many Broadway shows, especially nowadays, are based on popular existing properties. What's different about Be More Chill is that it was based off a book that, as far as I can tell, was not super popular. It does not use the novel it was inspired on by a crutch to their story, but as a jumping board into a darn near new story. In the musical, the Squip is evil and hellbent on domination. Very Audrey, too. In the musical, Michael is a very sweet gay boy that seems to have a crush on video games more than anyone. And the musical overall just goes so far beyond just the story of the novel of just trying to get the girl, but a story about acceptance and seeing people who they are, as well as seeing yourself, I guess. Joe Trace also did the book for The Lightning Thief, a popular new musical that also starred Be More Chill's George Salazar in its off-Broadway run. Funny enough, in this same musical, Stephen Brackett also directed the off-Broadway run. I'm not really familiar with the other shows that Joe Iconis has worked on, but his score for Be More Chill earned a Tony, which is pretty awesome. I also heard when I went to Pride that Joe Iconis is bringing a new show to the Two River Theater where Be More Chill first premiered. After a little bit of homework, it seems like it's going to be a 60s themed love story called Love and Hate Nation, but I'm not sure on any more information beyond that. So, what I do enjoy about the show, though, is that it does more than just show the high school coming of age experience through the interpretation of a grown person writing it. But it's actually the first show in a long time, aside from a few dated references, that actually felt like real experiences, conversations, toxic friendships, and thought process that I had in school. I really do think that the show's creators were right in focusing on the internal monologue that so many of us have felt throughout high school and even otherwise, that we're not good enough and all of the if onlys that we face every day. To me, personally, that's what high school was about. Jeremy didn't want to be popular, he just wanted people to see him. He wanted more than just hiding in the crowd, having crushes he'd never act on, staying home because he was never invited places. Him becoming cool didn't really seem to be on his priority list until the Squip really convinced him to do so. He liked the life he had at the very least. He just wanted to be more, you know? And I don't think he thought that he was somebody that could do it, who deserved it even. Beyond that, he constantly obsesses over what happens if he does this, doesn't do that. What he should do to get the most cred, I guess. I don't really know if that's what people say anymore. That's not really a high school thing. That's just a life thing. And that's why Be More Chill can apply to so many more people than just high schoolers. And I think that's what the show, above any other show like this I've seen, gets right. The set was absolutely gorgeous. Some strange mix of reality and sci-fi. Another really cool thing is that there must have been a track or something. People were moving set pieces, sure, but the big pieces on the ground literally saw themselves out, rolling off stage. It's hard to explain, so I'll put a picture up if I can find it. There was a display screen utilized in the intro, two-player game, and cell phone hour. For the past several decades, life stories have been told to others through various screens, so why not use one on Broadway? The orchestra was in the back, a character all its own on stage. It was so different than the other shows I've seen, on Broadway or otherwise. The theremin especially brings that unique sci-fi future and blends it with the traditional instrumentals. So for the cast changes, for the most part I really did enjoy them. For the sake of time, I'll only be talking about the cast changes, maybe not all of them, but the most important ones, to me at least, and how it compares to the original show. At least from what I can ascertain in the clips I've seen and in the original cast recording. Will Connolly did a fantastic job as Jeremy. Of course, he brought to life this nerdy, anal retentive character that introduced us to this whole Twilight Zone little shop what the heck ever. His voice is geeky in character and really makes you sympathize with his plight. He reads more awkward kid than full-out geek, so his transformation isn't as jarring, I guess. But I think Will Rowland really knocks the transformation out of the park. Wardrobe, staging, direction, just about everything helped them up the geek in Will Rowland's first appearance, so that when he came the cool guy, it was this wild transformation that I really wasn't expecting. It was gradual and believable, squip or no. Katie Ladner, again, did really good as Jenna. The gossip girl who just wanted to be seen. She had a freaking killer range and was a great actress. That being said, Tiffany Mann was a welcome addition to the cast and exuded over dramatic gossip girl. Her voice was just as amazing and her range climbed heights I couldn't even think of. I think Ladner introduced Jenna while Mann established the character, made it her own, and made the role this extremely memorable secondary character, like heightened ensemble character, I guess, that cemented her place into the cast. Paul Whitty as Mr. Here was fantastic. I love his voice. I can't really explain it, but it just has like some kind of dad quality that just makes you want to hug him. That's why I think why the transition to Jason Sweet Tooth Williams was so easy. And he just brought this oomph to it that I love. I love both of them. Mr. Here is one of my favorite characters, and I wish I could elaborate more because I just have so many feelings. They both did it in their own way, but it was both very serious but silly. I really liked it. Jake Boyd versus Britton Smith as Jake. I like Jake Boyd. He was cool, but I think that Britton Smith just brought something to the table that I think was kind of left out of the original production. He really pushes this persona of like, oh, this kid who's going through stuff, but puts on like a cool guy face. But as Christine says, way down there, there's still something that's a jerk. You know what I mean? Also, I feel like that line, the deep down, like he had like a third layer of jerk. I feel like that was a reference to a movie or a TV show, but I can't pick it up. So please leave it in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. I think Britton Smith kind of knocked it out of the park for me. Eric William Morris, compared to Jason Tam as the Squip, is so wildly different that I could not address it. Eric William Morris's Squip was this very suave businessman looking guy that looks like he could host dinner parties at the same time as being somebody's favorite teacher, at the same time as being somebody's dream date. He had like that certain way of speaking, way of moving that kind of like made you think he was so cool. And I think that that's what the Squip read better as. The Broadway Squip, I don't want to say Tam Squip because like I said, I don't know if this was his decision or not. But the Broadway Squip was more I felt like a dated view on what cool was. I found it very distracting, and I couldn't really get my bearings once I started hearing his voice. And he seemed so much less menacing with that voice, with that role of being like a surfer dude. And like I said, I don't really understand why they went with that, because that's not necessarily viewed as the cool guy. That's viewed as like the I don't really care, I'm just gonna do me kind of guy. I just did not really enjoy the squib. It took me out of the show, and I wish that they would not have done that. Overall though, the show is fantastic. I really hope that this 6-month run does not hurt its chances of being performed at other places. I really look forward to seeing it in other theaters, and I will be the first one, no joke, the first one to buy a ticket if another theater does it. I am extremely, extremely blessed to have been able to see it in previews. I would not trade that day for the world. It was the most beautiful Christmas present I could have ever asked for. And I went with my boyfriend, who is one of the most beautiful people I could ever have in my life. But yeah, please let me know, like, some ideas that I could do for talking about this channel. Maybe some challenges. Hit me up. I'm not sure if this review thing is going to be, like, my steady format. But I figure I'd try a couple of things before I stick with one thing, just so I can see what sticks, you know? I have a bunch of footage filmed, but nothing posted yet. But I'm not sure if I'm going to post all of it, because it is over the past, no joke, 1.5 years, maybe even 2 years, that I have had this in my back pocket that I have not posted about until just now. So thank you for listening. Please leave the suggestions in the comments. And with that, I am signing off.